Hi, my name is Neil. I'm at the City of Hope Hospital in Southern California, where I just donated blood. I'd like to tell you why blood donation is so important to our family and why I'm dressed up today. Maybe you'll be inspired to donate too. 24 years ago, my wife Ruth and I had a pretty normal life. We'd known each other since high school. We were married and we were busy raising our two school-age sons, working at our jobs and doing school volunteer work. But shortly after Ruth had a routine checkup, she got a phone call that changed our lives. Her doctor said that her blood counts were so low that she had to drop everything and go straight to the hospital. A normal adult woman has hemoglobin of about 12 to 15. Ruth's hemoglobin was less than 5. A normal platelet count is about 150 to 375. Ruth's was 14. A normal white cell count is 3.4 to 9.6. Ruth's was below that range at 3.3. We didn't know it, but she could have had a stroke at any minute, bled to death internally, or been unable to fight off an infection. At our local hospital, Ruth received her first transfusions. Those transfusions saved her life, and that was only the first time. Our local hospital referred us to the City of Hope Hospital in Duarte, California, because of their experience treating life-threatening diseases. The diagnosis was aplastic anemia, a disease of the bone marrow. The stem cells in Ruth's bone marrow weren't producing enough blood cells. She underwent treatment for aplastic anemia, but it helped only a bit, and she still needed transfusions to keep her blood counts up. Further tests revealed what was going on. Her bone marrow wasn't just lacking in blood cells, it had malformed cells caused by faulty chromosomes at the genetic level. The new diagnosis was myelodysplastic syndrome, an even more serious disease of the bone marrow. For this disease, survival is measured in months, not years. There were no drug treatments for the disease, and the only known cure was a bone marrow transplant from a matched bone marrow donor. Ruth's siblings were tested, but they were not a bone marrow match for her. Luckily, Be the Match found a willing bone marrow donor in the National Registry. By chance, a stranger was a match for Ruth's bone marrow. We checked into the City of Hope transplant unit and spent 44 days there as Ruth received radiation, chemo, her donor's bone marrow cells, and gradually built her immune system back up. This looks like blood, but it's actually bone marrow. This is the moment when Ruth's new bone marrow arrived. Ruth needed blood and platelet transfusions before, during, and after her transplant. Overall, she received 36 units of blood and platelets at the City of Hope, some donated by family and friends, and some from complete strangers. After a bit over 6 weeks in the hospital, I was finally able to take Ruth for a walk outside. And when finally we were able to go home, she could start the many months of her recovery. Even then, she had to return to the hospital a few times for blood and platelet transfusions. We once thought that Ruth had less than 2 years to live, but she's now doing great, 22 years after her transplant. Her life was saved by the City of Hope, by her bone marrow donor, and by the generosity of every one of her blood and platelet donors. Before Ruth's illness, I thought donating blood was something that other people did. Nobody I knew had ever needed blood. I soon learned that people all over the world, and in my community, need blood and platelet donors as if their lives depend on it, because their lives do depend on it. When I started donating blood, my first goal was to pay back the 36 units that Ruth had received. As you can see, that took me 9 years. After that, I knew that it would take me decades to reach 100 blood donations, but it became a top goal on my bucket list. The best way I could pay back the hospital and its patients for the help that we had received. It's now been 22 years since Ruth's transplant, and today I reached that 100th blood donation. It's a big moment in our lives, just like the original diagnosis and the transplant, but this time it's a happy milestone. That's why Ruth and I dressed up for the occasion. I plan to continue donating blood, But I'm just one person, and the need for blood and platelets is constant. 47% of Americans are eligible to donate blood, but only 13% do. I'd like to see us improve that percentage.
Look around you. 1/3 of the people you see will need a blood or platelet transfusion someday, and you could be the one to provide it. If you are eligible to donate blood or platelets and you've never done it, I urge you to give it a try. I think you'll find that it's easy, doesn't take very long, you even get a cookie, and you'll feel proud of yourself. If you are a regular blood donor, congratulations and thank you. Keep up the great work. And if you're not eligible to donate, there's something you can do too to help, and that's to spread the word. You could let your relatives, your friends, your neighbors, your classmates, your co-workers, and the community around you know about the importance of blood donations. And if one of them donates because you encouraged them, you've saved a life. And now I'm going to let my wife, Ruth, get the last word.
When you donate blood or platelets, the person who receives it probably won't know who you are, so they won't get to thank you. So I'll thank you for them. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the donors who saved my life and who continue to save the lives of so many others. Thank you.